What you're looking at right now actually isn't my $10,000 cinema camera, but rather a very old, almost broken GoPro.
So do you need an expensive cinema camera to get good footage?
Definitely not. Because as I said, I recorded this on this GoPro, and in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can get your footage from looking like this to that in just 3 easy steps. So let's head into DaVinci. And if you think this is the note tree that we're gonna use, you're wrong, because this is the note tree. Only 5 notes, because everything else is overcomplicating it. And by the way, the more complicated note tree here looks worse than the simpler version. So I'm gonna just show you the simpler version. Let's delete everything and start from the beginning. So let's make a new node with Alt S. And the very first thing we're gonna do is adjust our exposure. Now you want to have this down here. If you don't, just click this drop down menu. If you maybe have a vector scope, select waveform, because this is what we're gonna use to make most of our adjustments. Now usually you don't want anything to go over this top line here, but as you can see, our image goes beyond that. So the first thing we're gonna do is go into our primaries, go to offset and drag down, and as you can see, we are recovering this image. Most of the time I like my highlights to be kind of in the middle of this first and second line. This is a very good starting point. I already exposed this image quite well when I was shooting it, which you should definitely do as well. So I didn't really have to make too many adjustments here. And this is very important. I wouldn't just copy paste all the settings I have here, because every image is gonna be very individual. Just use your eyes and rely on your intuition. So that's already it for the first node. Let's make a new node. Now after my exposure, we're gonna adjust our white balance. Now I was wearing a white shirt here, and as you can see, it's pretty easy to spot that it's a little too blue. So we're just gonna drag this up into the warmer tones until we have a nice white. Now I'm somebody that really likes warmer tones, so I'm maybe gonna overdo this a little bit for your taste. So again, have your personal style. You don't have to copy everything. But to me, that is looking good, so let's continue with our tint. If your image is looking either a little bit too pink or too green, this is the slider you're gonna adjust. Now, I'm gonna add a little bit of pink, because I do think that it looked a little green before. And now, if we do before and after on this node, you might not even see a big difference here on YouTube. But that's okay, because the bigger adjustments are gonna come in just a minute. After that, we can already move on to contrast. And there are many different ways on how you can adjust your contrast. But again, we're trying to keep this as simple as possible, so we're just gonna use this contrast slider, because why not? And here it's very important that you focus on your subject, because this is what we want to look as good as possible. Now I like the contrast in my face, so I'm going to continue with saturation down here. Drag this up, maybe this is a little much. I'm going to keep this quite low as well. And now we're going to get into some things which I actually haven't seen too many people talk about on YouTube. We're going to make our highlights and our shadows look like they were shot on film. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to make a new node, go to our qualifier tool here, and you could even turn these two off, because we're only going to use the luminance slider here. Now you can drag this up. You can drag this up and see nothing happens. This is because we have to press this button here, and now you see everything changed. As you can see, the edges are way hard, so we're just going to increase our softness here. 10 to 15 is best. And now we're going to finesse it, because we only want the highest highlights. As you can see, you can only see my shirt a little bit and the really bright highlights. Now we can turn this selection off again and go back into our primaries. And if we take down the gain, you can see that we're only affecting the highlights. Now we don't want to overdo it. This will be, So keep them in a natural position. Usually 90 is a very good starting point. And now we're going to do the exact same thing, just in the shadows. So go back to the qualifier, this time take down the highlights, adjust the softness back to 11 until we see the very dark shadows. And now we're going to go into lift. And as you can see, this will actually lift our image. If you look at the waveform down below, it lifts the shadows. And you don't want to go overboard, just like in the highlights. We just want to get to a level where everything looks a little milky. Not too much, I'd say maybe there. And now you might think, hey, this doesn't make any difference. But now, watch what happens if we turn it off and on completely. This is a big difference. As you can see, in color grading, a lot of small things combined together will give you a pretty big difference. Now for the secret sauce that, again, I haven't really heard too many people talk about it. I don't know if it's a secret or anything. And if it is, I'm going to expose it right now. Well, let's make a new node. Go into effects and search for depth map. This one here. We're gonna apply it. Now our image is gonna look very weird, and that's okay. And this looks complicated, but it really isn't. White is closest to us, and the darker it gets, the further away it is. But we don't really care too much about that because what we want to do is go here and isolate specific depth. Click on that, and now we have a target depth, which is now selecting our subject. But we want to select our background. So we're going to take down the slider, and as you can see now, it changes. And now our subject turned black and the background turned white. And this is exactly what we want. Now you can turn off this map by clicking here. Now we're back to the image. Now what we try to fake here is our background blur that you would get from bigger lenses, which again this GoPro definitely does not have. But that's okay, because we are going to work our magic here. Go to blur, but before we adjust it perfectly, we can actually crank this thing all the way up. And now what we want to do here, we can zoom into the image and we want to refine these edges because these aren't good. So let's turn on both of these here. This is probably the most important one here, contract and expand. And if we drag this up, as you can see on my shoulders and my arms, the depth map kind of gets bigger. Now you want to adjust it that it's just at the edge of perfect. You don't want to overdo it because it's going to look weird. I would just keep it at 100 or below. All right, now let's close this down and let's go back to around 60, which is what works for my image. And as you can see, we added successfully background blur to GoPro image, which is insane. And now if we turn this final image on and off, I mean, it doesn't even look like it's coming from this camera. Now watch what happens if we copy paste our grade we've just done to some professional client work captured with expensive cameras. And this just looks amazing. 5 simple notes to make any camera cinematic. And I mean, from here on out, you can really go crazy with adding some film grain. And as I did in the beginning, even add the letterbox. Do whatever makes you happy as long as it looks good. I really hope this video is going to help your filmmaking journey. If you found this useful and enjoyed the video, I'm still a very small channel, so every like and subscribe really does make a difference. So I would greatly appreciate it. And otherwise, until next time.